It's midday. A very good afternoon to you and welcome to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are live from our studios at number 11 Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. The news is also live on all our partner stations across the country and around the world. We are live on citinewsroom.com. My name is Hawah Iddrisu and this afternoon I'm here with
Caleb Kudah.
Coming up, minority in parliament questions government over the payment of $33 million to a private concessionaire, Ashanti Port Services Limited, for the construction of the Buankara Inland Port project.
The $33.3 million that was paid, on what condition was it paid? Government cannot just take $33 million and give to a private entity that is building a port.
Also coming up, Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation justifies Ghana's huge delegation sent to the ongoing COP27 summit in Egypt.
For us as a ministry, the more people who show interest and participate in COP, the better it is for us.
Still ahead, despite the reduction in value of investments, the Securities and Exchange Commission believes this is the best time to buy bonds, with a call on fund managers to make known the current market value to investors.
We want the fund managers to reflect the current market value to their investors. That way, you create a fair basis of letting people appreciate the current values.
And later, we'll take you to the Bribery municipality of the Eastern region, where some residents have attributed the increase in cases of criminal activities in the area to the invasion of illegal miners.
We know that cocoa farm is inherited. So if I come to me that there's nothing for me in the farm, then what do you do? What do I do? I'll enter into something different. And these robbery cases, unlawful activities going out in the community.
All that and more on Citi Prime News, which is live on all our affiliate stations across the country. Western region, we are live on Premier FM 100.5 and Beach FM 105.5, both in Takoradi. Bono region, we are live on Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani. Ashanti region, Orange FM 107.9 in Kumasi. Volta region, we are live on Global FM 105.1 in Ho and Adanu FM 107.7 in Adakluwaya. Northern region, Diamond FM 93.7 in Tamale. Upper West, Westlink 88.1 in Laura. Upper East, we are live on Source FM 100.1 in Boko. And Northeast region, we are live on Scarp FM 101.3 in Nakpanduri.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
We are grateful for choosing us. The minority in parliament is questioning the payment of $33 million by government to Ashanti Port Services Limited, the concessionaire in the Buankara Inland Port project. The Buankara Inland Port is $33 million joint venture between Government of Ghana and the Ashanti Port Services. Is expected to serve importers and exporters in the middle and northern parts of the country when completed in 2024. The minority, however, says documents available to them does not justify the payment of the money to a private entity. Ranking member on the Transport Committee, Governs Kwame Agboja, has been speaking to the press.
For entities, state-owned enterprises to invest, there are laws governing them, sometimes by their own laws that establish them, and then the Public Procurement Act and also Public Financial Management Act and the regulations. What I am not sure about currently is at what point in time did Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority become a shareholder? How did it happen? Did anybody offer them the shares, or did they voluntarily say we are going to buy shares? And when was that decision taken? Was it a board decision? Was it a directive from the minister or cabinet? We want to see those details. And the $33.3 million that was paid, on what condition was it paid? Government cannot just take $33 million and give to a private entity that is building a port, because as of the time they came to parliament, we don't know any government entity as shareholder. The 100% shares belong to Ashanti Port Services. So when was that decision made? And if you pay $33.3 million, what does it represent? Does it represent a portion or a percentage share government is buying? Where are the documentation showing that we own a certain percentage upon which we are putting forward $33 million? How much money has the developer themselves put in so far that is requesting that we put in 33 million. If the whole thing is 330 million, we are told when they came to parliament, we got 330 million. How much has the developer put in so far? Who actually received the 33.3 million? Is there an SPV? Now, it is now a JV, allegedly between Government of Ghana and Ashanti Port Services. So you can't go and deposit money, take money from public funds and deposit in a private person's account. There has to be a JV or something. So which account actually received the $33.3 million as we speak? And what is the purpose of that money? Is it money just to give to the developer? Is it to pay for a particular activity of which GPHA feels obliged to invest? All these things are questions nobody knows.
Governor Kwame Agboja is ranking member on the Transport Committee of Parliament.
Member of Parliament for Bolgatanga Central, Isaac Adongo, has reiterated his call for the resignation of the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison. According to the ranking member on the Finance Committee, the rise in inflation, depreciating cedi and worsening economic conditions are a result of policy decisions by Dr. Addison. He alleges that the Governor has illegally given over 70 billion Ghana cedis to government to finance manufacturing maturing debt on the domestic market, contrary to the Financial Management Act.
The Bank of Ghana at any point in time should not have lent more than 5% of the previous revenue cumulatively to the government. If you consider last year's revenue, the government cannot even borrow 5 billion Ghana cedis from the Bank of Ghana. We are currently looking at something in excess of 70 billion of illegal borrowing by the government of Ghana through the Bank of Ghana. Now, when you have a corrupt government such as Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia, and you pump 70 billion into the economy that does not belong to the economy, you know they steal them and they put them in their rooms and under their beds. Under the current circumstances, the best storage of money is dollars and not cedis. So Dr. Addison's 70 billion that is now in the homes and beds of government functionaries is what is chasing the dollar. How can Dr. Addison still be the governor of the central bank? I call on Dr. Addison as a matter of urgency to exit that office and give Ghana the chance to clear the mess that he has created.
Isaac Adongo is a member of the Finance Committee of Parliament and member of Parliament for Bolgatanga Central. Now, the Vice President of the Ghana Securities Industry Association, Kisei Antonio, has revealed that redemption requests have overwhelmed fund managers as a result of the recent economic challenges. Outflow of liquidity increased as some investors feared their funds may suffer haircuts. The development led to President Akufo-Addo assuring the public of no haircuts on their investments. Speaking on the Citi Breakfast Show, Mr. Kisei Antonio says outflows have been in the billions.
It's rather unfortunate, and I guess the strategy for most fund managers was to hold these funds to maturity. But we are currently in an environment which we all witness to. I mean, the monetary policy rate has increased by about 11 percentage points over, the last several months, and that has adversely impacted the prices of these bonds. Okay. So you understand. So I guess at the time of you coming in, we all expected that, look, we've pulled funds from various investors. We're going to hold these bonds to maturity. We're going to get coupon or interest, as you say, to come in to reinvest if interest rates were going up in higher yielding instruments to take advantage of those higher yields. And also, we keep cash. When investors are coming to redeem, we give them. But currently, what has happened is, we fund managers have been inundated with redemption requests. Haircuts discussions started. Okay, like I said, the MPR went up. So interest rates on government securities.
So you mean the monetary policy rate went up?
Yes, MPR, the monetary policy rate. Yes. So interest on government securities also went up, and the interest on these securities were more than what these fixed income funds were offering. So,
people wanted to move their money into more
and then invest in higher yielding instruments. And then secondly, we all know that people were speculating on the cedi as well.
So they were also removing their cedis to buy dollars.
To buy dollars. You know,
so there was pressure on fund managers beyond the liquidity they had prepared.
So they've been inundated. I mean, there have been the outflows and the billions.
Kisei Antonio is Vice President of the Ghana Securities Industry Association. Meanwhile, the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Reverend Daniel Ogbami-Tete, says despite the reduction of the value of investments, this is the best time to buy bonds. He has therefore called on fund managers to make known the current market value to investors.
The loss, okay. But when we say mark to market, we are saying that let investors see that, well, at this point in time, because of market conditions, the value of your investment may have gone down. If you don't check out, you don't realize it. But if you check out, then you lock in the loss. But it's just to get investors to see the current or prevailing value of their investment, so that they make an informed decision. Actually, this will be a good time if you understand how investment works, to buy, because there's a principle of you buy low and then you sell high. So it's all about understanding. But we want the fund managers to reflect the current market value to their investors. That way, you create a fair basis of letting people appreciate the current values.
Director General of the Security and Exchange Commission, SEC, Reverend Daniel Ogbami-Tete there.
The Chief Director of the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Mrs. Cynthia Asari-Bediako, says 350 delegates have been registered for the COP27 summit ongoing in Egypt. The number has been criticized by a section of the public as large and wasteful expenditure, whereas little is done back home to prove its usefulness. But Mrs. Asari-Bediako says the government did not foot the bills of all 350 participants, though she did not provide details of how much government has spent on delegates. The chief director tells Ghana News Agency that Ghana stands to benefit more when people show interest and participate.
Ministry of Environment, as you may be aware, is responsible for registering all those who are interested in participating in the COPs. So far, we've registered close to about 350 people. But this is not to say that all these 350 people are government delegates and being sponsored by government. Rather, they come from various backgrounds, and sponsorship also comes from various agencies, including the UNFCCC, CVF, that's Climate Vulnerability Forum. We also have the Global Environment Fund, we have UNDP, and sometimes even the World Bank that support some of these institutions and delegates to participate in COP. Government participation is very minimal, but I cannot put my finger on the amount as at now because it's not over, and we cannot be sure who has been sponsored by government as at now. But I know there are a number of funding agencies. And these agencies also sponsor government delegates. That's one thing we should know. They are not limited to only the private sector. These UNFCCC, CVF, and all that also support government agencies to participate. For us as a ministry, the more people who show interest and participate in COP, the better it is for us.
Chief Director of the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Mrs. Cynthia Asari-Bediako.
Director of Communications of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, Richard Ahiagba, has described the recent Kumie Preko Reloaded demonstration as irrational. Over the weekend, hundreds of Ghanaians, including pressure groups, Economic Fighters League and Fix the Country, poured onto the streets to express their frustration with the government over the economic hardships and the incessant hikes in food and fuel prices. Reacting to the protest, the NPP communicator Richard Ahiagba indicated that despite the current economic hardships, it would have been apt for the lead convener of the group, Martin Kpebu, to seek legal action rather than inciting individuals against the president. He was speaking on Citi TV's Point of View with Selo Madonu.
As a lawyer, you choose the rational the avenue that gives you the maximum outcome, right? You're a lawyer, you have evidence that the finance minister has conflicted himself, and you're a lawyer, a reputed one at that. So what option will you choose? A rational person, what outcome will you
That's
choose?
a decision left to
No,
him.
I'm saying we all can see.
That's a decision left to him.
I agree. So that is why he's not being rational. That's why he's being emotional, because he has chosen to have this conversation. So I want to point it out.
Very well. But I think you've had enough time on this.
No, he did. He did allow it. But I want to establish, I want to establish the point. Salom, allow me. I want to establish the point where he is giving advice, and I want him to take his own advice. To say that if he's a rational lawyer who knows that somebody has conflicted himself and has evidence, what he does is go to court, not demonstrate. So the advice is given, he should look at it.
I'm saying that it depends on the strategy. Yeah. Very well. Let's get to the substance
but
of it.
But a lawyer must have a strategy, and that strategy is evidence. You have evidence, you don't go to the street,
No,
you go
it depends
to
on what you want.
Richard Ahiagba is Director of Communications of the New Patriotic Party, NPP. However, private legal practitioner Martin Kwebu has disagreed with the NPP Director of Communications and gave reasons why this was the right time for Ghanaians to hit the streets to protest against the government.
People's savings have been wiped away. People's capital has been wiped away. And when they complain, you say they are being emotional. Come on.
No, Martin, maybe you are taking him out of context. I think the point he's trying to make is that
I don't want that. Can you play back what he said? He says we should be serious. We shouldn't get emotional. That's how he started.
Very well. No problem. No problem.
That's what he said. Do you understand? You are talking to people. You are talking to millions of citizens who have lost their savings. You are talking to millions of citizens who can't afford food. You are talking to millions of citizens who have lost their capital. So I'm giving you free advice. This is from the use of the word emotional, that people are getting emotional. You don't understand what you are doing. You communicate for the government. So at this stage, you have to be very humble, very sober. Oh, give us some time, we will do it. But stop telling people they are being emotional. You don't understand.
Martin Kwebu is a private legal practitioner and lead convener of the Kumiampeko Reloaded demonstration.
The People's National Convention, PNC, has charged the government to clamp down on the pricing of products in dollars. The party argues that the government has failed to enforce the Foreign Exchange Act 2006, that is Act 723, which prohibits pricing, advertising and receipt or payment for goods and services in foreign currency in Ghana. They further state that, as codified in the Act, anyone who violates the Foreign Exchange Act should be severely punished. The PNC, in a 7-point recommendation to government to help revive the economy, is also calling for the regulation of importation and pricing of petroleum products. The General Secretary of the PNC, Janet Nabla, spoke to Citi News on their recommendations.
How can we be in Ghana and be pricing our items in dollars? We have the Ghana cedi and the Ghana peso. These are the only denominations that are supposed to be used as a legal tender in the country. Yet we have hotels, we have companies, we have institutions pricing their items in dollar terms. They are part of the reasons why we are having the price hikes in the country, because the way we treat the dollar as if it is the primus inter pares of everything has created the problems that we have. And we think that government should start clamping down on institutions, hotels, companies that will price their items in dollars. Or why will you be in Ghana doing business and be pricing your items in dollars? I feel like you don't...
This is a time when the city has depreciated and a lot of people would want to trade in dollars. Don't you agree that it's the right time to price in dollars to make more money?
That is why I'm saying that government should clamp down on them. They are the reason why the city even has depreciated. Because of a lot of people use their money to buy dollars to put it in a dollar account. So they don't even like the city. So the more they look down on the city and put pressure on the dollar to get the dollar, the more the city will fall and the more the dollar will go up.
General Secretary of the People's National Convention, Janet Nabla.
Pressure group Occupy Ghana has petitioned the Office of the Special Prosecutor to investigate allegations of an alleged businessman who attempted to bribe some members of parliament who wants the finance minister dismissed. The members MPs claim that following their call on the president to remove Ken Ofori-Atta from office, some of their colleagues were approached by an unnamed businessman with the aim of influencing them to back down on their stance. This, Occupy Ghana contends, constitutes corruption offences worthy of investigations. Here are excerpts of that statement.
We have followed media reports from interviews by Joy FM with Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, MP for Swami, Majority Leader and Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, and Andy Appiah-Kubi, MP for Asante Akim North, which have been widely circulated by other media portals. In these interviews, the MPs alleged that an unnamed wealthy businessman had attempted to bribe them. That will be an attempt to influence the conduct of MPs in the course of their official duties, a potential corruption offense that falls within the remit of your office. We wish to draw your attention to these allegations and to petition your good office to investigate these allegations. And if the allegations are established to be true, proceed to prosecute. We will be available to assist with this request should there be any assistance from our end.
He had excerpts of a statement released by a pressure group Occupy Ghana calling on the Office of the Special Prosecutor to investigate bribery allegations.
Operations at the Volta Aluminium Company VALCO are expected to fully commence soon after part of the company was restored yesterday. The workers had earlier protested for better working conditions rather. However, Citi News can confirm that some auxiliary sections of the company have started operations. This comes on the back of an agreed memorandum of understanding signed yesterday by the management of VALCO, its workers and the Ministry of Land and Natural Resources. Meanwhile, the workers are expected to return to the negotiation table tomorrow with management to find an amicable solution to their demand for their salary to be pegged to the dollar.
Now, the Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, has assured the public that chicken and other meat products cleared from the ports by the authority are taken through internationally accredited health protocols before being released onto the Ghanaian market. This comes after a news publication indicated that frozen chicken products imported into the country have been kept for many years, with most having been injected for preservation purposes. The FDA, in a statement, also called on consumers to bring to the attention of the authority any observation of contaminated poultry products onto the Ghanaian market.
You are still listening to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. Stories we've been bringing you this hour. Minority in Parliament questions government over the payment of $33 million to a private concessionaire, Ashanti Port Services Limited, for the construction of the Buankara Inland Port project. We also brought you a story where the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation has justified Ghana's huge delegation sent to the ongoing COP27 summit in Egypt. Still to come, the Economic and Financial Court 2 Division of the High Court has granted a 200,000 cedis bill to Chief Executive of defunct Beige Capital, Michael Nyinaku. We'll tell you more shortly. Please don't go away.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Afiwe, Black Stars fans say attempt Dieno.
Yeah,
team selection.
Yeah,
na coaching Ejumanin Swe.
Yeah,
hey, now Black Stars beat maybe B. Saka Sanonso.
Yeah,
no negative talk. Positive talking kwa. Mama come Qatar 2022 way. Na Black Stars echi. DSTV the 64 matches ni na be bro with DSTV compact so. For 169 Ghana cedis beji decoder and the year. Ghana, it's our moment.
Ah, na Jordan you ko be dem.
Hey, Masa. Yejai.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Yeah, welcome back. Let's now take you to the Ashanti region, where the strike by the 3 teacher unions is beginning to bite hard in the region as more teachers in public pre-tertiary institutions have boycotted classes. Now, due to the strike, academic work has generally been hampered in many basic and senior high schools. In some cases, teachers were present in school but refused to teach. As a result of the situation, some students returned home while the rest who stayed in school decided to engage in extracurricular activities. a national service person at the Sokori Mampong RC Junior High School, Samuel Onimakon, has been speaking to Citi News on the situation.
I came to teach because I'm a national service personnel. But I came and I saw few students. So I asked them, I wasn't aware about the strike, so I asked them and they were saying that the teachers are on strike. So I went to the staff, I asked the headmaster and they confirmed that yes, they are on strike. Today too, I came in the same situation. So I don't know what to do now, whether to go back home or stay here till 3 p.m. then I go back.
But yesterday, were you able to teach?
I wasn't able to teach because the few students came.
And so what's the situation today?
The same thing. The same situation that as I experienced yesterday, that's the same situation which is going on here today too. It's really sad. If there is any action that needs to be taken, I think it should be because students, some are here to study, but here is the situation that they will come, paying now that the cost of transport is high, they will take car, come to school, and here they are waiting for teachers to come. Teachers are not also coming to class. It's really sad.
Samuel Onimakon is a national service person at the Sokori Mampong RC Junior High School in the Ashanti region. Let's go over the phone lines and speak to our bureau chief for the Middle Belt, Edward Oponmafo, for more. Good afternoon to you, Edward. Thanks for your time. Now, from the other schools that you visited, are the teachers also there and sitting idle?
So generally, most of the schools, you'll find out that the teachers are not present. And you also find out that some of the students are engaging in various games. So many of them are playing football. Some are also trying to engage their friends. And for others, they just decided, some people, we saw them going home and we spoke to some of them and they indicated that that's because the teachers are not in the classroom. And for even some of the teachers who are on campus, they have decided that they are not going to teach them. And so they don't see the need to still stay around. And for even those at the lower primary and those at the kindergarten level, some of them did not even come to school at all. And so that's the situation. But there are some few schools where you find out that indeed a lot of the teachers are on campus and they are teaching the students. So you go to Asqua, Presby Primary, for instance, but all teachers were around. They were in the classrooms teaching and they were going on with their usual activities. There were some PTA executives who even came around to observe if indeed academic work was going on smoothly, and indeed that was going on smoothly. But the general picture is that many of the teachers, in fact, a lot of them have decided not to teach. They are saying that they're going strictly by the directive by the 3 teacher unions to indeed embark on the strike to ensure that government listens to them.
Now, from the teachers that you were able to speak to, how long do they intend to stay off the classroom? Because yesterday the meeting they held with government ended inconclusively, meaning that they would have to continue. But from your interactions with them, do they intend to call it anytime soon, or they are still going to wait until a directive from their national leadership directs them to do so?
For the teachers that we spoke to on condition of anonymity, they are saying that the final decision rests on the leadership, that the leadership of the 3 teacher unions should give the next directive on what they should do next. So they cannot really say it's going to end this time or that time, but as far as the leadership has directed for them to embark on a strike, that is what they are going to do. Some actually indicated that, well, they know the students are supposed to have exams in some few weeks' time, but they feel there's very little they can do about it because the decision by their leaders is that they should embark on that action, and they feel they have to comply with it, even if they have some reservations.
Now, the Ghana Education Service yesterday in a statement directed that all heads of schools make sure that their schools are open. Now, have you been able to speak to some of these heads, and are they putting in any measures to ensure that the students who come to school daily are not left out?
Well, there were some schools that we went that were able to engage some of the head teachers. But of course, because of the fact that they feel they will receive some sanctions, they decided not to speak on record. And the point that they have been making is that for them, they will ensure that all students who come to school go on with their usual activities smoothly, and that if there's a teacher around who decides to teach, they will not prevent the teachers from teaching. But if there are no teachers around, there were some schools that they had some few teachers who were basically around to control the students, and as if they're engaging in their usual activities as playing football or other things. There are some teachers who are just around to ensure that everything goes on smoothly. But there were some cases too that we went to some areas where it's very difficult to even find the teachers around. It's difficult to even find the headmasters around. It were just students who were just playing their games, and you engage them, they'll tell you that, well, they are just in school. They will tell you that they are just in school and that they are going on with their academic work. And so basically they don't have anyone at all to tell them to do this or that. So you just ask them, they tell you that, well, we have not seen the teachers, and so as and when we feel we are tired, then we leave this place.
Grateful for your company. That was our bureau chief for the Middle Belt, Edward Opomafo. Let's come back to Accra. My colleague Kweku Ediama Ansa has been monitoring the situation and joins us live on telephone as well. Good afternoon, Kweku. Thanks for your time. How different is the situation from the schools you have visited here in Accra?
Well, honestly speaking, the situation is similar to what has been experienced in the other parts of the country, and especially with the reports that we got yesterday that academic work has been hampered. I'm currently in one of the schools here in Uki, the Presby cluster of schools, and it is just evident that the students are really not doing anything as they would have done when classes were in session before the strike. And so, but then, fortunately, they still have their teachers around, just that they're not really going about their duties as they used to be previously. I've met with the headmistress of the institution, and she says that her teachers all came to school actually today, and they came very early in the morning as they are expected to come. And this is so because of the directive that was issued by the Ghana Education Service yesterday. And so they are here to make sure that the students are in good shape, they are protected whilst they come to school. But then academic work has not been as fruitful as it should be. So it's not really different from what happened yesterday, especially today being the second day of this particular exercise, that's the industrial action.
I can hear some of the students behind you shouting and all of that. How do they intend to continue coming to school without their teachers around? Is it something they would prefer to do throughout the week until their teachers return, or per interactions with them, they would come today and then tomorrow, obviously, maybe tomorrow they would sit at home?
Well, so for them, their parents have not asked them to stay at home. That's the first thing. So they cannot really decide for themselves. But if you interact with them, most of them are like, if truly their teachers are not coming to teach them, then there is no need for them to come to school. That should have been the ideal way, but they have no other choice than to still come to school. Just that they feel that their academic work would be hampered so badly, especially as they are entering the final lap of their schooling, especially for those in JHS2. And for the other students, they will be writing their end of semester exams. And so they say that it will take a toll on their studies. But then they do not really have any other option than to come, especially as we've seen a lot of the teachers still coming to school. They say that if the teachers do not come again, then that's when they can actually report to their parents not to also come to school. But as I speak to you now, they are in school. They are going to come to school as is required of them throughout the week, unless they're told that they are not supposed to come to school again because of industrial action. So I'm sure most of them will still be coming to school as it's expected of them.
Grateful for your time. That was my colleague Kweku Ijeama answer, telling us or bringing us update on the strike by the 3 teacher unions who are demanding the sacking or dismissal of the Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Dr. Eric Nkansa. This is still the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Hawah Iddrisu here with Caleb Kudah. Still to come, we take you to the Bribery municipality of the Eastern region, where some residents have attributed the increasing cases of criminal activities in the area to the invasion of illegal miners. Details of that and other stories coming up shortly. Please stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
It's creamy, creamy plus, delicious milk. Creamy plus for you.
Creamy Plus is a delightfully delicious option whenever and wherever the occasion calls for milk. For your quick meals on the go or quality time at the dining table, jazz up your favorite Gary soakings, mashed kinky, cereals, and all hot and cold beverages with a creamy, protein-rich, healthy option of milk. Creamy Plus evaporated milk with vegetable fat is all you need to stay on the go. Creamy Plus evaporated milk is now available in a shop near you.
For bulk purchases, please contact Les Farm Distributors at Medina Ritz Junction on 0501 682 522, or Grace has found us at Akoko Photo Dansoman on 0245 162 747.
Creamy Plus for you.
Creamy Plus evaporated milk.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
1xBet. Easy betting, easy winnings. 1xBet, the most reliable service to make deposits easily with high odds and numerous bonuses on the spot. Register now at 1xBet.com.gh. Use promo code BESTODDSGH to get 300% bonus up to 3,445 Ghana cedis on your first deposit. Easy to use, easy to have a chance to win. 1xBet, reliable bookmaker. Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Some residents living in the Bribery municipality of the Eastern region have bemoaned the increasing cases of criminal activities following the destruction of farmland by illegal miners. The youth are said to be engaging in illegal activities because most of the town's cocoa farmland have been sold by family members for illegal mining use. A visit by Citi News' Vivian Kai, local to the area, revealed that cocoa farms have been left with large pits by illegal small-scale miners.
From the Eastern region, specifically the Bribery municipality of the Eastern region, I bring you sounds of the various illegal mining activities happening here in the Eastern region. I'm currently at a mining area. Now, this stretch on a normal day will be a cocoa farm, but we're told that yesterday, this area, the illegal miners started working here. I'm told that this area has a river here. It's been here for years, but the activities of the illegal mining, we don't have that river here. They have blocked the access route of this river. You may think this is a construction site or something of a sort, but don't be deceived. The heaps of sands that you're seeing, the mountains of sand, and in some cases water looking like a mini pond or area, are abundant galamsey sites. Now, this area used to be a cocoa farm, and along the line there is a water body that was there. Now, today that water body has been diverted, in some cases destroyed because of the activities of illegal mining. I'm speaking to a gentleman who lives in this community. He is a farmer. So what was this place like before?
Okay, when I grew up, we came to meet that all this place were having cocoa trees and other cash crops.
So this is a cocoa farm?
Yes. For the past 10 years, we came to realize that unknown men from nowhere came to this place and they started taking off the topsoil, destroying properties over here, yet to come to realize that it is the galamsey issue that is happening over here. We are living in Techiman, but there are some people living inside the bush that we say, those living in the Akan dialect, we say Ekurasifono. Sorry to say that. And actually, they also depend on this water. And now that this water is no more, that is their cry as to how to get water for their household chores.
What kind of mining were they doing? Were they using the excavators, or because this looks like, and you know, the dugouts are those of huge machines?
They brought excavators, bulldozers, and other things, and then they were not doing the shallow mining. This is the deep mining, because as you can see, this thing that you see like this, like a pond, when you fall inside, you die, because it is about 20 feet down.
Wow.
So when you fall inside this, you will easily die. And they've abandoned this for years. Meanwhile, we have people who can also talk for us, but they've left this and we are suffering.
Remember that the Ghana Water Company has warned that it may be forced to halt operations in certain regions because of the lack of water to, you know, feed to households across those regions. And one of the regions that have been named is the Eastern region. Remember earlier I was telling you that parts of the river was blocked, diverted by these miners. So let me give you an idea of what that looks like now. Tell us about this situation. So this is where the water was blocked.
Yes, this is where it was blocked. They dug that area and then all the water just moved to that end, blocked this side, and the mining activity happened inside the river.
Right in the river, the mining happens. Well, the gold is in there as well?
Yes, the gold is in there. And then since there is a great river, that is where, to their belief, the miners, that is where they can get numerous of gold. So they always try as much as possible to mine inside the river instead of going outside the river.
So this river, where is it coming from and where is it going? This.
Okay, actually, so as you can see, we have the thick forest over there. And then per what my grandfather told me, the beginning of the river is coming from the tip of the forest, moving down this way. So actually, as it is coming, it will extend to the next communities up there to meet River Brim at Pramkese. So that is where it is going to.
So this goes to the Brim River, which has been destroyed as well.
Yes, please.
Okay. So this, I'm told, is part of the River Pram. This has been diverted because of the activity. Nana, tell us about this situation. This is supposed to be a river body or part of it, right?
It is part of it. Actually, when they decided to mine inside the river, they diverted the river, so the whole river came to this place, and they blocked it over there. And the mining activity happened in the river. So after everything, then they decided to send the water back to where it was at first. So that is what happened.
So this has been here for how long, this particular situation? Also within the 8 years?
Oh, yes, within the 8 years.
So those people who went to farming, the old folks, what do they do now?
You see, that is the most dangerous aspect. I have my cocoa farm, I sell it. After taking the money, that's all. I will try to invest into other business out there. But it is not favorable for each and every one. It depends on what you use your money for. So that is what is happening now. And that is leading to a lot of social biases. Because, for example, we know that cocoa farm is inherited. So if I come to me that there's nothing for me in the farm, then
what do you do?
What do I do? I'll enter into something different. And these robbery cases, unlawful activities going out in the community.
We can hear the sounds of excavators. So this is around 4:10, 4:05 actually, on a Friday in Bribery municipality, and they are working.
Yeah, work is ongoing, as you can see. We can see that they have about 3 excavators around. And they are all working now. They are trying to dig the trench, and then from tomorrow going, those in charge of the washing will also come in and wash and extract the mineral or the metal from it.
So we're still here in the Eastern region, still in the Bribery municipality. I'm going to another place. This is supposed to be a sacred area, I'm told, where the gods from this area are supposed to be. Trying to make my way into the forest. Oops! Oh, I'm sinking. Thank you. So this is how serious it is. I'm stuck in it. And now I have to be helped out. I'm going in again. Oh my God. It's funny, but it's serious. So my cameraman is also on the floor. So these pits of mud are actually not what you think they are. They are actually... Shikara, are you okay? So I just sank into that. So very dangerous area. And these are all wells that have been dug. But with this water, the dirty water, does it still work?
That is what one of the citizens just said, that since the water is being contaminated, it is their belief that there's no spirit in the water again. Why? Because all these mining activities has created this mess, and then with reference to this, the ghosts are no more living in the water again. That is it.
So these are shots from the river Pram. I can't get close. It's pretty dangerous. I may fall in. So the closest I can get is this, just to give you an idea of how dirty the water has become, and of course contaminated. And you can see the trees that have been destroyed, a number of them fallen, and some we just see the seeds. No more the cocoa farms, no more the bamboo plantations, no more the oil palm plantations. And you can see the water coming from the top, also polluted and all muddy because of that. And you can see my boots also muddy, just coming from a dugout pit. I was just lucky it wasn't deep enough and survived it. So this is how precarious the situation is, how dangerous it is. And this is the Pram River, goes into the Brim River, which has also been destroyed by the activities of illegal miners.
The report was put together by Citi News' Vivian Kai Loco.
Now, an off-river reservoir has been constructed by the Ghana Water Company Limited to improve the water supply situation within Konongo and other communities in the Ashanti region. The facility, with a capacity of 1 million cubic meters of water, was constructed to address the perennial water shortages within the catchment area, especially in the dry season. Despite these investments to cushion consumers, the activities of illegal mining continue to hamper the operations of the Ghana Water Company Limited at the Konongo treatment plant. Citi News' Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani reports.
About 8 communities, including Konongo, Odumase, Petransa, Hwidim, and Agogo, recorded water shortages in the past few years. This is because the intake point of the Ghana Water Company Limited to its treatment plant at Konongo usually dries up in the dry season. An intervention was, however, made, and the off-river reservoir, which can hold about 250 million gallons of water, was constructed to deal with the situation. The station manager at the Konongo Water Treatment Plant, Emmanuel Asari, highlights the benefits of the reservoir to the communities within the catchment area.
What you see here is the aerator. Then what you see behind me is the clarifiers. At this point, this is where we add our first chemical, which is the polyelectrolyte. Then it goes through the aeration, then sedimentation. Then the water, the clarified water, is sent to the filters where the water is filtered, and it goes to the final clear well where we add chlorine to it for disinfection. So from here, then we have 2 boosters on our way. We pump to Konongo inline booster. From there, it is boost to Johnson booster, then Johnson booster will boost the rest to Hwidim ground tank. Then it gravitates to Agogo. Then the people of Agogo also get water. Initially, before this new project was commissioned, we used to have problem with our water drying in the dry season. But as a result of this new project, I think it's been taken care of. Where I took you the off-river reservoir, you saw what is there. That is able to take us through the dry season, at least 6 months. We have 1 million cubic of water that is stored for this period. So in the dry season, should our main intake fail us, that is what we rely on. So currently we don't have that water shortage again. So the people here, I must say, have full complement of the system.
But officials here are faced with the huge challenge of dealing with the continuous pollution of the plant's intake point, the Nyako River, which is a tributary to the source for the treatment plant, is being polluted by illegal miners who have been plying their activities there, just like other treatment plants of the Ghana Water Company Limited, which struggle to treat water easily due to pollution. This plant at Konongo is not also spared. Officials are worried about the situation.
Galamsey has become the leading challenge at, especially in Ashanti region here. We have 6 surface plants in all, but 2 of them are the ones affected by the Galamseys. That is Konongo and Odaso. Because for Konongo, we have a system we call the off-river system. When we have high turbidity, we can resort to that, where we have pre-sedimentation of the raw water, and we can treat the water normally as a normal plant.
The cost of treating water, which is supplied to about 8 communities in the catchment area, continue to increase as officials will require more chemicals to treat and supply water.
The water that flows through the taps of inhabitants within Konongo and communities within the catchment area is treated and supplied from this place. It is becoming increasingly difficult for officials of the Ghana Water Company to treat the water safely because of the high turbidity of the water due to the activities of illegal miners. The officials here are worried about the continuous activities of illegal miners. They want something done about this situation to avert a possible disaster in future. Hafiz Tijani, City News, Konongo, Ashanti region.
And here in the studios, my name is Hawah Iddrisu, here with Caleb Kudah. Now, still more on illegal mining. Some stakeholders in the extractive sector have said a national day to recognize small-scale mining is needed to deepen public awareness towards achieving a sustainable mining sector in the country. According to the head of the Geological Department of the University of Mines and Technology, Dr. Asaria Santiano, a small-scale mining awareness day could be used to educate people on mining activities while highlighting its positive and negative sides.
As a country where we find ourselves, it's important that we have a small-scale mining awareness day. One, so that we would educate the public about small-scale mining activities. We have positive and negative side. So during the awareness day, we will highlight both, but most importantly, how we can do it the right way. What we mean by the right way of mining. There are pits that are left. We use water. Some even use chemicals in the process. Which ones will benefit us? The water, is it right to process our minerals in streams and rivers? The answer is no. So we need to create the awareness that yes, we have the resources and we need to mine it. We need to mine it in a sustainable manner. In mining in a sustainable way, it means that we have to use methods which are friendly to the environment. And also the hazards that we see, especially with the surface water, underground water, and then the changes of the landscape. This we need to create an awareness and then to educate the public on how best we can handle some of these hazards associated with the small-scale mining activity.
That was the head of the Geological Department of the University of Mines and Technology, Dr. Asari Asante Ano. Also speaking at the opening section of the conference, the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources in charge of mines, George Mriku Duka, recognized the importance of the mining sector to the local economy. He said it is critical to create awareness of the impact of mining with emphasis on good mining practices.
I must indicate that officials from Rand Refinery in South Africa, which happens to be the only gold refinery within the confines of the African continent, one of the 5 refineries worldwide to be accredited by LBMA, has been in Ghana last week to meet the Vice President and Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. Discussions centered around they serving as referees for some local refineries to acquire LBMA certification in the shortest possible time and establishing a branch in Ghana to serve the sub-Saharan Africa.
Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources in charge of mines, George Mriku Duka.
Now, the chief executive of defunct Beige Capital, Mike Nyinaku, has been granted bail by the High Court in a criminal trial related to the collapse of the bank. Mr. Nyinaku, who is facing 43 counts of criminal charges, including stealing, fraudulent breach of trust, and money laundering, was granted the bail in the sum of 200 million Ghana cedis, with 2 sureties to be justified. He is also expected to deposit his passport at the court's registry. According to facts presented before the court, Michael Nyinaku transferred for personal benefit huge sums of depositors' funds to companies related to him between 2015 and 2018. The transactions, the prosecution says, happened without the knowledge of the respective customers, management, and shareholders of the bank. It is the case of the state that this led to the collapse of the financial institution.
Well, that'll be all for today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studios in Adabraka, Accra. Now, before we go, a recap of our headlines. Minority in Parliament questions government over the payment of $33 million to a private concessionaire, Ashanti Port Services Limited, for the construction of the Buankara Inland Port Project. We also brought you a story where the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation has justified Ghana's huge delegation sent to the ongoing COP27 summits in Egypt. And despite the reduction in value of investment, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, believes this is the best time to buy a bond, with a call on fund managers to make known the current market value to investors. And we took you to the Bribery municipality of the Eastern region, where some residents have attributed the increase in cases of criminal activities in the area to the invasion of illegal miners. And a while ago, you heard a story where the Economic and Financial Court 2 Division of the High Court has granted a 200,000 cedis bail to the chief executive of defunct Beige Capital, Michael Nyinaku. For more news, please log on to citinewsroom.com. The news was live on all our affiliate stations across the country. Western Region, Premier FM 100.5 in Tekrade, Beach FM 105.5 also in Tekrade, Bono Region, Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani, Ashanti Region, Orange FM 107.9 in Kumasi, Volta Region, we were live on Global FM 105.1 in Ho, Adanu FM 107.7 in Adaklu Waya, Northern Region, Diamond FM 93.7 in Tamale, Upper West, we were live on Westlink 88.1 in Laura, Upper East, Source FM 100.1 in Boko, and Northeast Region, we were live on Scarp FM 101.3 in Napan Dewey. My name is Hawah Iddrisu. I was here with
Caleb Kudah.
Anita Kisimweko is up next with the afternoon's edition of City Business News. Many thanks for your company and do have a great afternoon.
City 97.3. More variety. The city is alive on 97.3. City 97.3. Accra. Get It's the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
It's 1 o'clock. Hello and welcome to the afternoon's edition of City Business News, powered by citybusinessnews.com. Coming up, importers and exporters kick against calls for introduction of an import license policy. And later, Data Bank reassures customers of safe funds.